Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about lossless scaling and how it works. I see a lot of questions on YouTube and on Reddit, and a lot of people want to know how it works. You have a lot of options, so I can understand that it is a bit hard to understand at the first time you open it. I mean, what does it all mean? Today we're going to talk mostly about frame generation. I will be making a video later about scaling and multi GPU options. But for now, for the basics, what most people will use is a single GPU and just the frame generation part. So yeah, let's talk about it a bit. So you have here a tab with type, mode, multiplier, flow scale in the frame generation section. You have here some options. This is older models and this is the newest one, the lossless frame generation 3.0. And yeah, we're gonna use that. Then with modes, we have fixed and adaptive. Like, what is the difference? Well, we're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna show you also what is the difference in the test inside video. We're gonna start with fixed. Multiplier, you can put it as high as low if you want, but let's start at 2. This basically means you have your base FPS and it multiplies that times 2, 3, 4. If you want 20, you can put 20, but I don't suggest it. Let's start with 2. Then we have a flow scale. So what is a flow scale? So the flow scale is actually a little bit about the quality of the extra frames you will be getting. If you play at 4K, I suggest putting it between 40 and 50 because basically half of 4K is like 1440p-ish. So your resolution will be of the extra rendered frames about 1440p. This doesn't impact as much. If you're gonna do like 1440p or 1080p gaming, I suggest like keeping it between 75 and 85. The higher the number, the more heavy it will be on your GPU, but the better the quality. The lower the number, it is less heavy on your GPU, but the quality is less. So that's why 4K between like 40 and 50 and 1440p and 1080p, like keep it around 75 or 80, 85%. That will give you the best results and a nice balance. Then we have here with the capture, you have capture API, we have DXGI and WGC. So I think for most users with one GPU will choose DXGI. It is the most used one for one GPU. WGC will works best on the newest Windows 11 24H2 with multi GPUs. It will give you less input lag basically. But I think for most users, just put it to DXGI, but you can experiment with it. Like, you cannot break the program, so do whatever it works for you actually. Here you see also a little bit what it is. When you go over it, you see like a tab popping up, and yeah, the Q target. So when you have it at 0, basically you have the lowest latency, but it is heavier on your GPU, so it means also a little bit less FPS. On 2, so let's put it on 2, then you have like then you have more input lag, but it is less heavy for your GPU, so you have a bit more frame rate. I suggest keeping it on 1. It is a nice balance, and I think for most people 1 is gonna be perfectly fine, including me. I'm gonna keep it at 1. So the clip cursor. This means that you can actually also see your cursor. So yeah. Or yeah. Crop input, you don't have to do anything with it. Just keep it how it is. Scaling off, mode auto, and just keep this how it is. So for rendering also just keep it at default, because if you turn off then you have like screen tearing and I don't like that as much. And with VSync, I don't know, I almost never use VSync, so I just keep it at default and it will do whatever is best. So then we have max frame latency. It is a bit hard to explain, but basically if you have an nvidia GPU, keep it at 1. If you have AMD or Intel GPUs, keep it at 3. That is how it's gonna be most smooth, basically. If you play with HDR on, just turn it on. I don't have HDR, so I turn it on, off, I mean. I have G-Sync support, I have it on my monitor, so I turn it on. The FPS, you see on the top left of the video, you'll see like two numbers, 75, 77, and 144. Just turn it on for now. I will explain you exactly what those numbers mean. Your GPU, if you only use one GPU, just click it on the primary GPU you're using. And the display, if you have multiple, just keep it on the display that you're using. If you have multiple display, I suggest turning this on. That means it is going to be way easier. All tabbing and the lossless scaling is going to be turned on. If you turn this off and you have lossless running and you alt tab out of the game, then in some games it will stop lossless scaling as well. So just turn it on if you have like multiple displays. It is there. It doesn't break it. It makes it better. So I suggest turning it on. Oh yeah, one more thing. Keep your game at windowed, borderless, or like full screen borderless, but don't run them in full screen. Like it usually doesn't work. In some games it works, but in most it doesn't. Just keep it at like full screen borderless. Then we have like settings options. I have my own hotkey here. Didn't like the one that it started. I think it was something with Alt S or something. I don't remember. I put it to F4 and then it will start and stop with F4 when I press it. So yeah. You can make profiles if you want for every game you want. I usually use the same thing and I don't mind changing some settings for every game. So yeah. And then we have another tab. That is this one. It is Riva Tuner Statistics Server. Some games don't allow for frame capping, and then we want to use this. Like here, we can cap our frames. Yeah. So yeah, I already hit F4, so we have the scaling open. So what we're gonna do, like when we play now, without extra things, the game looks still good, but it doesn't feel that good. Now, why is that? Because as you see here, the first number is like 82, and then it is 91, 70, like it is jumping up and down the number. So we're gonna get a little bit running and see what was the lowest number that we are getting. And that number is really important because we're gonna go a little bit under it. So I think I saw like a 70 or like a 78-ish. So in this case, to make the lagging and stuff and the frame spikes, to fix it, we are going back to Riva Tuner and we're gonna put here, for example, 70 and we hit enter. This means that the game now is locked at the base FPS at 70. So that means we will seeing 70 times 2 is 140. Yeah, so that is the times 2 mode. It will be stable at 70, 140 with a dip of 1 FPS, of course, sometimes. Yes, but what if we want more? I see here the game is a bit more heavy. So maybe the better thing to do actually is putting the Revia tuner to 60. So it locks the game at 60. Then we're gonna unscale and scale again. Going back to the game. And then we will see 60, 120. And yeah, this is way more stable. I don't notice any input lag from native. So yeah, that's great. But what if you want more? Because you bought a monitor with 144 or 160 FPS or 200 or whatever, and you want more. What can you do then? Then we can simply do like 3 times scaling to start with. So what will happen if we put like 3 times? We unscale again and scale again, and we're gonna see what happens. This means now our frame rate is still the base. It is lower because it is heavier for the GPU to run. So we're getting more dips. And we do get 144, but it feels unstable. The input lag is way more. So what do we have to do? Then simply we need to reduce our base FPS a bit because it is all over the place. So what if, for example, if we put it at 47 or something? So we're going here, put it at 47, or actually let's round it up, make like 45. Press enter, unscale and scale. And what I'm going to have now? Now, as you see, it is locked at 45 and our output is 135. So that is 45 times 3. Mathematics, right? It feels way smoother, but I don't really like it in this particular because I still don't reach 144. I'm not good at maths, so what can I do to get a stable experience and still have 144 FPS or whatever FPS you want? Then we go here, instead of the fixed, we're gonna use adaptive. Here we have the target that we want. I have 144 Hz monitor, so I'm gonna click unscale and scale. This is 144. Go back to the game. And what will happen? Oh, also unlock your FPS. Unscale and scale again. The reason I unscale and scale is sometimes it can work without unscaling and scaling. And sometimes it wants to unscale and scale again to be like smooth. Now you see the base FPS is going up and down, but it isn't noticeable, like no input lag, nothing, the game looks good. So in my opinion, this is the way if you want over 144 FPS or over 120, because it feels and looks better than 3 times. At least that is my experience in most games that I did. So yeah, if you want 144 Hz, just use the adaptive one, or if you want like 200 FPS or 300, use adaptive. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the video and it was helpful. So if there's anything you want me to change, for example, just put a comment down and I will read it for sure and we can see what we can do about it. So for now, if you guys liked the video, drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel and I will see you guys next time. Bye!